Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at NuScale power. It is time for an update, and on the long time frame we have been focusing on this uptrend with an idea that here we have a wave 1 up and then a wave 2 down here and then an additional 1-2 setup that would be part of the larger third wave that would be forming here to the upside. Now the overall target for this third wave would be the 138.2% extension at the $593 level. Now that may be not completely right. It is an approximation that around the $590 level would be our target overall. And yeah, this third wave, or any third wave really, doesn't need to stay and reach that perfectly. It could easily surpass it substantially, or yeah, in some cases even come a bit short of it. It is just an ideal target, but you get the idea. Now we won't really be focusing on that. There is quite a long road before we get anywhere near that area. So instead we will really be focusing on what we have at hand. But before we get into the shorter time frame, I just wanted to mention that yeah, there is another way that I could see this movement developing, but it is really just a bit different. So this is my main interpretation with this 1-2 setup. Doesn't really matter. And I have another idea that I think I presented previously before as well, where this could be a wave 1 up and here we have a wave 2 down. Then this would be an additional 1-2 setups. But again, what we are really focusing on is this third wave to the upside. Now if this is the third wave within, or the third wave itself, or a third wave within the third wave, does not matter at all, and it will not matter until we actually complete this movement. We get a 4-5, and then we would need to decide, and not necessarily decide, but we would need to look out for a potential top in a wave 1, where we would be looking for quite a deep retracement in a wave 2, or if we can find another 4-5 pattern and then have really this as a wave 1 up. Now that again is quite far away. Right now we are really focusing on the 1-2 setup within this third wave in which we are in at the moment, and here I would be looking for support for the wave 2. Since yeah, this wave 1 is pretty much complete, I would be looking for a retracement here in a wave 2 in the area between the $29.4 level down to the $15.6 level at the 78.6% retracement. Now this is a high probability area and a pretty great risk reward area ratio for this area to enter in this retracement in a wave 2, find support and create the reversal to the upside while being pretty close to the invalidation point, which is this bottom. The beginning of this wave 1 would be the invalidation point for this 1-2 setup, and we also have a pretty good indication point of probabilities where if we break the 78.6% retracement, it would be a pretty great indication that yeah, this 1-2 setup is probably not going to work out. Yeah, if we break significant, maybe not significantly, but confidently below it. Now so far we haven't even reached this support zone, so there is much to talk about in this area as well. So overall in a wave 2 we are looking, in this case I believe, for an ABC correction. Could turn into something a little different, but overall it will be a 3-wave move that would develop within this wave 2 correction, and then we would be looking to find support and start the reversal to the upside that would ideally start with an initial 5-wave move followed by a 3-wave move, and thus creating a smaller 1-2 setup that would allow for an even higher confidence entry for the uptrend to follow. Now that is not a guarantee. It could develop in ways that might make it a little bit more difficult to entry than that, or to find an entry than that, but we will still quite hopefully at least reach the larger support zone that we have here for the wave 2. Now in this correction so far, I would pretty confidently label what we have for now as an ABC setup that we would follow to the downside in continuation of this correction, where this wave B technically could be complete. It has a pretty clear ABC structure. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that it is complete, so we could still see a reset, even if we still go lower here. So it could turn into something like this, where we have an ABC, making this an A wave up, an ABC, B wave down, and then we will get a C wave to the upside in a 5-wave move, and that could reset the wave B. But as long as we stay below the 78.6% retracement here at the $47.5 level, I would look further to the downside with pretty high confidence. Now, a break above this would give it a pretty good chance of starting the third wave here a little early and allowing perhaps for this wave 2 bottom to be here, but that is not necessarily the most common. Most of the time we do get into the support zone, at least to the 38.2% retracement in the correction for a wave 2 before we start the reversal. And in fact, in the previous video I was looking for this wave C to the downside, and possibly we even had then a 1-2 setup that could have been complete. Now we pushed a little lower since we filmed and we recorded the previous video and we posted it, and then I would have to adjust this resistance area for this 1-2 setup to the downside, and it seems that we have a pretty clear 5-wave move to the downside in a wave 1 within the wave C, a pretty clear ABC structure within the wave 2 to the upside. We reached the golden ratio, the ideal target for wave 2, the 61.8% retracement at the $39.3 level, and we found resistance and seem to quite possibly have started the third wave to the upside, where we even have a pretty small, let's maybe even look in the 15-minute, we have a pretty small 5-wave move in a wave 1, a wave 2 up, and right now we could either be within a series of 1-2 setups that could quite soon turn into a very strong third wave to the downside. And considering that this wave 2 topped here, I would be looking for an ideal target for the third wave to the downside. And let me get a little closer to get the right levels actually. So I am taking the extension of the wave 1 and I'm looking for the 138.2% extension for the ideal target in the third wave, and that would be at the $28.3 level. Now that would pretty much come in line with the expectations that we would have here for the overall wave C. So let me remove this briefly. But the ideal target for a wave C, assuming we have here the A wave complete and the B wave complete, would be the 100% extension of the wave A, and that would be at the $24.7 level. Now, if you remember, as I was mentioning a moment ago, the ideal target for the wave 3 is the $28.3 level. Now, that would not necessarily, that would not complete the wave C, and we would still be looking for a 4th wave correction and then continuation to the downside in the 5th wave, and that could very well even get us to the ideal target of the wave C, the 100% extension, the $24.7 level, also a level of confluence very close to the 50% retracement, and that could be our ideal bottom, let's say, for this wave 2 correction that would allow for the beginning of the reversal to the upside in the third wave of the third wave. And for now, there really isn't much else to add. These are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.